If you can win one, you can generally win three in this series. Trends were broken, though, last time out as the rise of Jason Smith came into view. 4 to his name this season, he could very well be the name everyone says is champion by the season's end. But there are two Dempsey brothers, Jason Cooper and a very well-known Jordan Kelly after last week's action. Welcome to Donington Park, where the first half form gets written as round 4 comes to you live on the Global SimRacing Channel. Good evening, SimRacing fans. My name is Jake Sperry, and joining me in the commentary box is Craig King. Behind the scenes is our director, Daniel Costello, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Donington Park is the circuit that invented the need for a Formula One pit speed limit back in 1993, but it's so much more than a pit lane. Let's take a look at our GSRC track guide to show what made this circuit great and keeps it an icon on the British scene.
Welcome to Donington Park. This British track can boast the rare feat of hosting Grand Prix racing since before the advent of the modern F1 Championship. About a half-hour northeast of Birmingham, cars and bikes of many types have competed here. There are two layouts that can be driven: the Grand Prix version, which is roughly 2.5 miles, or the National Circuit, which is just under 2 miles. The only difference between them is the addition of the Melbourne and Goddard's hairpins at the end of the lap. This circuit is known for its fast, sweeping bends and difficulty in overtaking. There's also some extremely tricky blind apexes like at McLean's and Coppice. Ironically, one of the most famous and more difficult high-speed turns is called the Old Hairpin. Resembling nothing of its name, it includes a frustrating kinked entry and a very critical corner exit that leads to a long piece of uphill acceleration. The first turn of Redgate is a popular place for overtakes, but it carries an unusual danger. The pit exit empties right into the racing line, and if stops are expected during the race, it can prompt some treacherous exchanges. While the circuit is most well known for its extremely wet 1993 European Grand Prix, where Ayrton Senna blitzed the field for a win, currently the track is mainly used for lower-level open-wheelers and touring car racing. Overwhelmingly popular with British fans, Donington Park has established itself as a pivotal circuit in the UK racing scene.
So that's what makes Donington Park such a uniquely special place to go and watch some racing, to go and enjoy some racing, to go and interact with some racing. But the racing that you get around this place, Craig, is one that often gets said is all about the National. It's a track which really doesn't suit high-speed cars, but in low-speed powered cars like the Ray FF1600, which we're with today, this is the perfect track for.
It is indeed. Now, when British Motorsport asked the question in the 1930s, where's motor racing in the North? Fred Craner responded by taking the land beside Donington Hall and created the original version of this track. Now, nowadays, the GP layout that we're on tonight is 2.45 miles and 12 turns, and it still has some of that layout of the very first design. It's a track with tight turns and short straights, and that iconic sight looking down the start straight line into the entry of Redgate, a corner full of overtaking chances. The elevation changes from Hollywood down to the Old Hairpin and then up to McLean's will provide a test to these drivers. Can you keep that car flat out down the Craner curves? Because it's a section that doesn't normally allow overtaking unless you manage to get side by side with the other cars. We've seen that quite a bit so far this season. Now, McLean's is a corner that will catch many drivers out. Where do you brake? Where do you turn? And are you going to be prepared for someone that's going to do a late braking move to make that overtake? And then it's uphill into the semi-blind Coppice, a double apex right-hander that challenges the drivers on their pace and trust. And it asks the question once again to those drivers about those throttle controls. Of course, we're on the GP layout. Not the layout I prefer, I must be honest, but it does have the double hairpin finish. Even with the Fogarty S's, it's a double straight. It provides a lot of the overtaking chances. So these Formula 4s love to slide around. That will separate the smooth from the aggressive drivers. Sliding around here, as we've seen in quali so far, will not be good. It will cost you. This is a track that is a staple in all motor racing in the UK. It's the heir apparent to Silverstone. It is a track, though, that brings the mantra, smooth is fast, to life.
Smooth is fast, and fast we will so hopefully see, and we will certainly find a very good opportunity out there to see some great racing. But let's talk championship, because this is a crucial phase of the season, heading to that halfway round 4 of 8. We start ourselves on. Keep an eye out on these gaps. Keith Dempsey, 219 points, and then you've got Peter Dempsey just behind, just 16 points. But remember the one drop round. Remember 90 points maximum for a race win of 3. Jason Smith, 77 points back of Keith Dempsey, is very much within the range to take the championship lead when the drop rounds are tallied up. Sean McClement, Sean McGoldrick, Bruno Walraven, all there. Lawrence de Sosa tied on points with Walraven. It's a very close championship, 5th through 8th, with Jordan Kelly, who's already used his drop rounds, missing the opening round in 9th, and Rory O'Shea rounding out the top 10. And besides the dog having a little bit of a headache, Craig, on your end, you've been keeping an eye out on what makes this circuit good, and we've seen through qualifying how good the qualifying efforts of the top 2 have been.
Yes, apologise if you heard that knock there. Dog decided to go flying all of a sudden. Qualifying is looking good at the moment, and it is a battle of the Jasons. We've talked about the battle of the Dempseys, haven't we? Well, let's talk about the Jasons today, because it's Jason Cooper currently leading qualifying out there at the moment. But that is all important with the qualifying out here today, because qualifying sets the first race as well, Jake. Just remember this. It's a 3-race format. First race will be 15 minutes. And then you will get the 10-minute sprint where the grid will be decided from that qualifying, from that first race, sorry. Then top 8 gets reversed for race 3 for the final race, 20 minutes. I'm expecting a lot of chaos in that 10-minute race, because you and I know so well how hard it is to overtake at this track. I'm going to look for overtakes at the old hairpin, at McLean's, and at the Melbourne hairpin. I think that's our best options here for overtakes tonight.
Yes, I think we've got places where that is the case, where you're looking at maybe the hairpins are going to be 2 places to get it done. Melbourne hairpin, Goddard. But you've also got the chances like turn 1 at Redgate. You've got the old hairpin with the crisscross. You've got the chances to make the passes over at McLean's and into the Fogarty S's. This is where you have to make it all work. And this is what we've been keeping an eye out on. That 20 limit, that drive-through at 15. Drive-through at 15 happened pretty quickly last time out at Snetterton. It might be the same here today at Donington Park. Let's take a quick look over to qualifying then, because we've got ourselves just a handful of minutes left, 2 of them, and the time will expire when they go through. It is an oddly foggy day, Craig, around here today. Osim Puhaka up in 3rd position. It says, find your inner fin on the side. He doesn't need to find his inner fin. He's found his outer fin. He's found his flying fin. And he's looking to try and break the 2 Jasons up at the top.
Yeah, he's so close to them. He is just 0.015 away from Jason Cooper. He comes around the Goddard's hairpin. He's looking good for a time here. It's going to not be a good time, though. It's an invalid lap time. And I don't think he's got any time left to set a lap out here. Meanwhile, behind him, just in the distance, we saw Jason Cooper. This is Rory O'Shea right now. He's got a few more corners to go. You just start to see as he goes around. I believe that might be... No, he's actually finished his lap times as well. We're looking at these times, 1:36s. Yeah, it's a decent time around here.
Team DDR then, Sean McClement driving, looking for a time over on the board. Keep an eye out for everyone who jumps up, because I believe we are going to get drivers jumping. Peter Dempsey just up into 6th position. That jumps Sean McClement's down 1 into 8th place. Can he find time over the line? It's a 36.8397. Not enough to improve. Was short by 600 over the line, so couldn't find anything. 45 seconds. And in terms of who could improve, Jason Cooper might be the big one who can. Keith Dempsey as well will be searching for a lap time then in these final sections, heading through the Fogarty S's right on the heels of Jason at this point. But it's going to be close. 25 seconds from here, you are pretty much hoping that the stop-start nature of this track is going to give yourself enough time and effort to go through. Back up the hill trying to get this drive. 10 seconds left on the clock. This needs to be magic going in through from Keith Dempsey. I think they'll just make it over to the line. Keith Dempsey won't, but Jason Cooper will make it over to the line, but was not quick enough as the timer expires. So the grid will stack up as follows. It is Jason's on the front row. We press next to Jason. It is Jason Smith and Jason Cooper, P1 and P2. Ossian Puhaka will start from third with Chris Knox in fourth, and the Dempsey brothers, Keith, championship leader against championship second, Peter Dempsey in sixth position. Ronan Doherty will be in seventh with Sean McClements in eighth. Jordan Kelly down the order in ninth, and Sean McGoldrick rounds the top 10.
Get to the second row very quickly. Lawrence de Sosa will be in 11th. Then it's Rory O'Shea in 12th. David Yamamoto will be 13th with Bruno Woolraven beside him. Then it's Patrick McKenna and Isaac Canto, 15th and 16th respectively. Tony Stack will be 17th and Jamal Gandor 18th. Peter McCann will be 19th with Ronan Hederman for 20th. And we do have one more page as they are almost ready to be gridded.
John McDonald, Dave Collier, row 12 with Ian May and Enda Farrell. You got Mark McKenna, Gary Corcoran, Martin McGonigal, Sebastian Scholten, and Brandon McGogan will make up the 29 drivers then here on this starting grid. As we took a little virtual look at the former International Hall, you can see there it is a very humid day, 95% humidity. 29 degrees track temperature, 18 degrees air temperature. It is as humid can get. And these drivers know and understand that they have been a little bit slippery off of the starts of these races. They have been struggling a little bit with these conditions, and it is the sort of conditions today where you could be battling with the front out there over this opening race. These 15 minutes will be the first true indicator of how everybody will find themselves going. Green flag in the air, all 29 loaded and ready to go. The last two drivers back there on the end of the grid were stacked up behind the final corner as they had to go through, but it's a nice clean start then from Jason Smith, who has the race lead running through Redgate corner. Cooper, Puhaka, they're just behind, and it fans out through the middle, through the Craner curves. For the first time, it all checks up behind Peter Dempsey, too wide as they drive on down.
Too wide, and some of them keep it clean all of a sudden, making sure that they stay single file. Big movement at the moment. Chris Knox, as you can just see, just losing a couple of positions elsewhere in the backfield. More moves there. Look at that slide in there from Ronan Doherty. He gets it stuff, but he just overcooked it as we expected. It's risk reward if you go sliding here.
Yeah, Jordan Kelly will find a way through as well. And now searching Rohan Doherty is Sean McGoldrick trying to find a place. You can very easily get freight trained around this circuit. They head to the Fogarty S's, the left-right chicane, which is a surprisingly quick one, 114 kilometers an hour. Back onto the power, looking to attack. Drivers having to abandon stage right and take the slow down penalty, and that very, very telling. Lawrence de Sosa trying to go through and very nearly troubles as they get themselves down on the brakes there. A lot of drivers getting it wrong, including Jason Cooper, who had a massive wrong line down there at Melbourne, which meant Peter Dempsey and Ossian Puhaka now through up into second and third.
Yeah, and that's going to be good for Aussie. I think I counted about 7 drivers forced to take a slowdown on that first lap due to mistakes, but Puhaka now really is looking comfortable. We've got to look here as well. Those little battles are crucial. Jason Cooper trying to get his way back forward. Sean McGoldrick with an incident there on screen. We've got one car off there, and you start to see that just a little bit overcooking there on the corners can cost you. And another car coming in, and it's Dempsey.
And that's championship leader Keith Dempsey caught up in the mix. Rowan Doherty got it all wrong, under braking, took the right rear out of it. Now it is advantage everyone. Championship leader in trouble. Jason Cooper right now could be racing against the championship leader elect, who is right there in front. Peter Dempsey with the George Russell helmet on. Here's the look then up at Coppice Corner. This long sweeping right-hand bend. You're always looking to try and put the power down on as early as possible. And he's got his 5-star motorsport teammate behind in Chris Knox, so that could be big.
Yep, and if they go for that move, we're just going to keep a quick look at this replay of what happened there to Dempsey and Doherty, and you'll just see as they just come, it just looks like a little bit of braking, unsure of the braking, goes to move, moves a bit too late there, and you start to see they collide, the wheels tangle together, and the interlocking just sent both of them off there. One of them could have avoided that had there been no interlocking.
Yeah, they certainly could have done, but these are the margins that you have to deal with. Dave Collier in a bit of trouble there in 19th position and dropping a spin at the Melbourne hairpin. Certainly not what he was banking on. And right to the back of the train he goes. Jason Smith with the fastest lap then of the race. A 1:36.764. No bonus points for fastest laps. And in a very Irish Guinness car, it's Chris Knox now trying to make some progress down the Craner curves. They have behind them Jordan Kelly, who has joined this group now and is trying to charge after a poor initial qualifying effort. And the old hairpin, which, believe it or not, was never a hairpin to begin with.
Yeah, I've never understood why it used to be called a hairpin, but I think it stems down to the old dirt days when this track was first made. Regardless, Chris Knox, he's one of the drivers that he's had a slide as I talk about him there, and that's occurs. And also, Ozzy Bahaka's gone off at the same time.
On his own, Ozzy Puhaka gets it wrong, and on top of that is joined there by Chris Knox, who I think may have been spooked by the yellow flags that would have been waved for him immediately at that point. Puhaka back going again in 16th position, but this has been the story of Ozzy's season. He's just not either A, not had the pace, or B, when he's been in position, hasn't been able to find a consistency. Now watch Jordan Kelly's run. Oh, he's having a great race at this point in time. He knows how good he is in this Ray FF1600. Straight down the inside, the Formula 4 driver gets it done on Jason Cooper, but Cooper is pretty much all over him back up the hill.
Cooper looking to try and play a dummy there, did not work, and I think he's keeping it safe. They've still got 10 minutes left in the race. There's no need to be a little bit aggressive so far. Chris Knox making up 6 places so far. Jordan Kelly, making up 6 places so far. Chris Knox has lost 6 places at the moment. Battles everywhere, and they're all just staying together in the grid. But what can Cooper do? This isn't the place you look for an overtake here, but in the backfield, there's some overtakes going on at Redgate.
Yeah, Chris Knox is one of them, trying to recover through the field after the mistake. That a pass on Isaac Canto then for a place in the top 10. David Yamamoto, Tony Stack, all there. Fast right-hander, up the hill braking, always having to second guess at this stage of the track, Craig. Where is the right place to turn the car in?
And not only that, where is the elevation change and where does the weight transfer go on these cars? And you'll start to see that is the challenge. Jake mentioned about trying to get on the throttle at the right time there for Coppers as well. It's so imperative because in a race where you've got all these incident points, and we've seen drivers with incident points, that can affect you for just getting one mistake. And we're seeing more drivers here, 3 cars together. De Souza, McGoldrick and Clements as they come around. McGoldrick is holding off De Souza, but the sliding there is not doing him any good. It's still 95% humidity here, and it does show with the way some of these drivers are going.
It certainly does, and Sean McGoldrick will see just in front that he has got the other Sean there with different spellings. They're going to have a battle out there today to see whose spelling of Sean is best out there, and none of them want to end up as Shaun of the Dead. Mark my words on that. But at least at this moment in time, Jordan Kelly is going to be someone who's concerned. McGoldrick trying to chase down here and really make something happen. But it is Jordan Kelly who's got to be the one who's the most worried, because Jason Cooper has not let go. And I wonder how long Cooper's going to wait, or wondering if Jordan Kelly is going to make his way all the way up to Peter Dempsey to try and challenge for second position in this race one. Look at how they slide in towards McLean's corner and up towards Coppice now. They will charge the plateau braking zone. Very difficult to judge in its own right.
Yeah, I'm just looking at how they both take the line there. And Cooper had a little bit of a slide on his left side tyres there, and it did hinder him a little bit sliding again. Remember, it's not very good when you're in the middle of the corner. You lose a lot of temperature in those tyres. When you heat them up, then you lose the grip. More sliding there from Cooper. He's just being a little bit overdriving on this car at the moment, as you see on board. Meanwhile, Jordan Kelly's got onto the back of Peter Dempsey and a long, wide line. Look at the different lines both drivers take there. It does show that a different line can help you, but in this situation, Kelly is now starting to pull away.
Yeah, he is, and he is grabbing on to the coattail that Peter Dempsey is leaving out there, is dangling in the form of slipstream, and it's going to be a lot of work for Jason Cooper now to stay with. Now, Ossian Puhaka back here in 13th position has found an almighty train. Tony Stacky's managed to get through, but now he's got Chris Knox, David Yamamoto, and Isaac Canto, so it looks like Chris Knox has had another little bit of trouble out there over the course of this race. There is Yamamoto, who's going to have to defend hard here in towards turn 1, using all of the outside as Stack behind goes around. You can see him there. The 7-Up car is pretty much many places down after that incident. He's going to be in trouble there. Down the Craner curve, Yamamoto loses out to Knox, but you still got Ossian Puhaka trying to figure out where he fits in the puzzle pieces of this race. The answer is nowhere at the moment. Off in front of them goes Isaac Canto, so the group will close up again.
Group closes up yet again. What can Ozzy do? He's being a little bit passive. He's now going to look for that move. Can he make this stick here against Yamamoto? A really nice move, Darren McLean, and holds that on in front of them as well. Another 2 wide with Canto and Knox, and that's Knox getting through, as you just see, getting by. So Puhaka now gets a really nice run. These drivers are trading positions. It does feel like it's a little bit of swapping at a dance party. Grab your partner and do-si-do, because Knox and Canto will go again.
Yeah, and Knox will find he's not going to get it here in his first part, but he'll get drive off the second part of the Fogarty S's. Down the hill to the Melbourne Hairpin, the lowest section of track, or one of the lowest sections of track out there. You're fighting against gravity every time you go through. Trying around the outside, it'll be 3 wide off the exit. Pushed out. There is Chris Knox, but it brings Puhaka now into the attack. Doesn't have to drive up the hill, it's covered as a defense, and everybody swarming behind. Canto is putting everything together. As we say that, Jordan Kelly has just made the pass to go up to second position. We've just seen that on the timing tower, as now they try and charge through. Peter Dempsey has got to really find a way through and maximise his points all in this opening race. He knows how quick Jordan Kelly can be on his day.
Yeah, this is crucial for him. He would have liked to have got ahead of Jordan in this race. It not worked for him, as Kelly made up 7 positions so far in the race. A big gainer, and he continues on. If he can just start to find a way here, a good exit of Coppins will help him, but Dempsey's going to hold on. Look at the narrow line that Dempsey's taking compared to Kelly. He's really looking for this at the moment. The gap is slowly there. Again, I call this a double straight for a reason. If he can hold on to Fogarty S's, he may be able to get it. Yep, he decided against it here at Starkey Straight. Hopefully, he can get it before the Melbourne Hairpin.
Yeah, but no chance if you got one Jordan Kelly driving that well off of the exit of the corner. Now it brings Jason Cooper into a question. Can he find anything in the last 3 minutes, 51 seconds of race 1 of 3? That is there. Meanwhile, in the background, I believe Sean McClements may have just gone around. You can see him dropping down there at the Melbourne Hairpin. He drops and he has to wait for everybody to go, and finally he can get going just ahead of the Chris Knox group, with Ossian Puhaka now through in terms of that battle. They're still going at it, those lot.
Yeah, they're still going. You start to see that's a late move from Chris Knox. And Puhaka's going to try and defend it from the outside, and they're going to go 3 wide down the start-finish straight, and now goes to 2 wide. Chris Knox is going to hold on to this at the moment, and Puhaka's going to look for this. Can Ozzy try and make this move into Redgate? He looks. It's not going to work. Redgate's a corner. You can make a move around the outside. Canto almost tried it. Does not. Knox is now going to try and catch on to McClements. That'll be vital for this group to catch up to them.
It will, but old Father Time is knocking on the door. Peter Dempsey knocking on the door of Jordan Kelly. Jason Smith has gone and is on his way to his 5th race win of the season. But Peter Dempsey knows it's not about how many wins you get, it's how good you can limit the damage that's there. And this is big if he can find a way back past Jordan Kelly, take that second position, limit the damage done in this opening race. Into the Fogarty S's once again for what will be the penultimate time. You've got to be so careful about how you go through. Number 99 has got to be so careful that he doesn't jump too far over. Dempsey working his way to the inside. Thank you very much. Takes the move. He's now got to hold on for what will actually be 2 more laps of this race with the time they go through. Immediately fighting back is Jordan Kelly. Trying to find a way through on the inside. Has to leave the room open, does Peter Dempsey, but They will drag race their way to Redgate.
Here they go side by side, and Dempsey has the speed here. He has the overlap, and all of a sudden he's got his nose pointing forward. Around Redgate they go. The respect by both of these drivers side by side, and still they can't hold on. They almost interlock tires there, and a great little save there from Dempsey, and then again from Kelly. And this brings Cooper into the mix. He has to be careful. He's licking his lips right now as Jason Cooper. He would really love it. He wouldn't be after a 99 flight. He'd be after a Cornetto right now.
I think he would be. I think he wants to get the full whole hog of a move sorted if he can find it all there. Look at how much in the second position in this group, third position on the road. Jordan Kelly is trying to open up this circuit as much as he can, find as much road as he can to gain an advantage, knowing how crucial it is to defend this place. Here comes the charge. Can't look on the inside, can't look on the outside. Finally has to lift off of it because he knows he's not going to get a run. It's covered off, so you can take the natural racing line of Peter Dempsey, or you can slide it through the middle of the corner. Really hold each other up as you try and go through. Jason Cooper now with the run of runs will try and find a way through, but Jordan Kelly on the inside in this race for second position is going to get it done at the Melbourne hairpin, but they will have the white flag lap to still try and figure this out, and still Peter Dempsey doesn't know when to quit. Very late on the brakes, trying to hold it the long way around to get it done. He's not going to get it just yet.
No, that final hairpin's a little bit tougher to try and make a move around the outside compared to the first Melbourne hairpin, and you start to see they're trying to battle each other, and Kelly is going to try and look for this around the outside. It cannot work. Can the over-under work for Dempsey? It might do. They'll come down the corner cut, and it's blocked straight away by Kelly. Really good heads-up defending here from Jordan Kelly. He knows the right time to make these moves. Anything into the old hairpin, it'll be desperation at this stage of the race. All three drivers decide to play it safe.
They do. That's a good decision. Watch out as well. Oh, troubles. Chris Knox, Osin Puhaka, both of them find themselves off at turn one. It was a powder keg ready to explode, and it was. Still also a great race on for fifth and sixth position. Keep an eye on that heading towards the line. Dempsey can't find a pass on Jordan Kelly, and he knows he's going to have to if he wants to make it happen. If he wants to try and make that charge through and gain those vital championship points, it is either here or it is the Melbourne hairpin, and he will try around the outside here at the Fogarty S's. Brakes very early, trying to attack this exit, forcing the mistake out of Jordan Kelly. Goes hard over to the inside, trying to block this off. And look at that. They make tire-to-tire contact as they reach for the brakes. Dempsey goes far too deep in, and it opens the door up for Jason Cooper. The other Jason, though, has had no challenge. Race win number 5 this season. Jason Smith is driving towards a title. In the race on the second position, it will be Jordan Kelly who holds off the charge of Jason Cooper, because Jordan Kelly and Jason Cooper knew that Peter Dempsey was trying something from a league back. But it has to be another look. Lawrence de Sosua, what a last lap those two had, both him and Sean McGoldrick.
They had a cracking last lap there. They both were just trying their best to try and get a move. Then McGoldrick did get it at one stage, and de Sosua fought it back. McCann will get the Aussie Bahaka after that moment in the start of the lap. He comes back into 12th position. Isaac Cantor will take the 13th. All a little bit chaotic at the end there, but as we start to get ready for the 10-minute sprint, it's all change at the top.
It is, and that all change at the top is going to be with one exception. The driver who started on pole position, Jason Smith, winning that by 6.5 seconds over Jordan Kelly. Jason Cooper rounding out the podium with Peter Dempsey in 4th and Lawrence de Sosua rounding out the top 5. It is then Sean McGoldrick, Rory O'Shea, Patrick McKenna with a great drive there in 8th place, Sean McClements 9th, and David Yamamoto rounding out the top 10 in terms of this opening race of 3. There will be 2 more races. The 10-minute sprint is the next one up on the docket. After that, there'll be 5 minutes worth of warm-up before the 20-minute big race that comes on through. But the 10-minute race is probably the most interesting of the 3 here, Craig, because you've got no time to make the moves, but yet so many moves happen through that section of time.
Yeah, and it is a little bit desperation. We saw at the end of that race a couple moves of people trying to go hard into the hairpin and making the mistakes. You cannot make those mistakes in this 10-minute race. If you look at the likes of Chris Knox, he's going to be starting 22nd. You look at Ozzy Bahaka, he's going to be starting 12th. Rowan Doherty as well, he's going to be starting 19th. These are the drivers that have to just keep it calm now. They don't need to be too aggressive, but they do know that time is of the essence. They need to try and get as close to P8 as possible because that reverse grid is very vital for some of these drivers.
What about the driver P28 on this grid? Keith Dempsey, championship leader, is going to have to hope that the top 3 or 4 drivers create a roadblock at the front and a massive incident here for any chance of getting major points out of this second race. Once you put race 1 in trouble, you jeopardize your race 2 as we grid ourselves up then here at Donington Park here in Leicestershire, England. This is Middle England. This is good racing. This is great racing. In fact, you could say Middle North England actually at this point, but it's still going to be all about who can make the drive happen. You can't fight amongst yourselves when you've got Jason Smith on the pole position. He's already gone through the clean sweep once already this season. Will he be on the road to a second? Green flag in the air. We're racing here at Donington Park. Jason Smith with another scorcher of a start then as they run towards Redgate Corner for the second first time this series. And now you start sensing Jordan Kelly in second, Jason Cooper third, Peter Dempsey fourth. Single file through the top 5. It's McGoldrick and O'Shea racing out there too wide.
McGoldrick O'Shea tried to do that move. They were unable to as everyone comes down. A little bit of side-by-side in the backfield as some of the drivers try to find their way up the field. And more moments there as well. Dempsey's getting involved in an accident, though. And that's a little bit of a chaotic move there at the old hairpin.
Yeah, I think he was just finding himself there as a bystander to what was happening in front of him. Not much he could really do. Up the hill then and in towards Coppice Corner. Jason Cooper there in third position. We have the focus on the group pretty much as it should be. Everybody there, but let's not forget the top 8 invert here. 8th starts on pole for the feature race. That is there, race 3 of this as they go through, driving through the chicane then they do. There's a bit of side-by-side as Peter McCann found himself then trying to go forward, and that was going to be interesting. Cooper on the brakes, and the Melbourne hairpin we have seen so many times. If you outbrake yourself by 5 meters, you go sailing 15, and look at this here in the middle. 2 wides and 3 wides. It's pretty much a dream of battling here as they head up the hill to Goddard's.
A little bit of wheel touch in there from Ozzy Bahaka, but he managed to get the important move. Look at this. He's up to P8 in 1 lap. He'd be happy to stay there, but he wants the points. Points mean prizes, so as much of the P8 would be fantastic. He's got the first goal done. He's in the reverse grid areas. Now he needs to hold on here as there's more battling going on with him and Sean McClements. McClements will take that position back, but Hacker goes wide. Keep that car safe and not into anybody else. But all that work he's just done has just cost him.
McCann through, and Yamamoto trying to join the crew as they go into the old hairpin. Pahaka on the outside says easy done, but he goes into the grass, and that will hold everyone up through Starkey's corner. And now it leaves Yamamoto. Doherty making moves. Isaac Canto in the mix. And Doherty trying around the outside to make something happen. And can he find the formula? Keith Dempsey making a move, then jumps up to 20th position, but is going to be trading about there with Ian May, who's going to stay on that inside. Not going to find enough room to make that happen. They stay as is. Want to go to the front because here comes Jordan Kelly. He's got eyes on Jason Smith, who for the first time all race long is having to think about defending, not here into Melbourne hairpin. He was safe just enough, but the front 4 right now are having an absolute showcase.
And remember, we have not had a different winner in the second race to the first race. So this could be monumental. If Kelly can get past Smith here, this could really shake up things in the championship with having 2 separate winners already. He's trying his best at the moment. He has that slipstream. 6.5 minutes are left. That's how quick it takes. We're already a third of the race through. And can Kelly just hold on to Smith here? That would be vital for him. And again, if he stays with him side by side, that may allow him to just continue on for the final race. At the moment, Kelly is saying, I think I've got your number, Jason, and I think you may want to pick up the call.
Yeah, and I think Jason Smith will know this, how good Jordan Kelly is, how good he was at Snetterton. 2 race wins out of 2. There is Puhaka. There is some sliding in front of Puhaka, and that is Aussie up into 10th place, because that going off would have been Ronan Doherty there struggling out, and then Puhaka to the inside, and troubles for Isaac Canto.
Yeah, Isaac Canto had a slide coming around the Craner curve. He tried to keep the car very safe, and unfortunately Keith Dempsey had no idea where he was and just drove straight into Isaac Canto, and both cars have had to take a tow.
And just like that, the championship is falling away from Keith Dempsey. But there's someone there as McGoldrick's going to go straight on now. So Sean McGoldrick in a bit of trouble then going over the stages. He takes a slowdown and is going to be dropping a lot of time as the front full continues. Now that puts McGoldrick in a very interesting position here, because now there's going to be Rory O'Shea around. Rory O'Shea's around then at the Melbourne hairpin, so he drops out the top 8. Puhaka now has it.
Everyone's making mistakes at the hairpin today. They're just taking a bit too much speed, and the car is sliding a bit. That allows Aussie to make amends of that mistake. He's back into 8th position where he wants to be at the moment, but at the front of the field, you start to see that they're continuing forward, and if they can just get a move, can Dempsey get past Cooper? Can Gelly get past Smith? But at the moment, it's all about what happened to the other Dempsey.
Yeah, we'll have a look, see how it went wrong for Keith. We'll take a look on board, running down the Craner curves, issues at the old hairpin, didn't see it. Just didn't see it. And that's the sort of moment that you look at there, Craig, and it's a sim racing incident. It's one that you look at and go, he's completely parked. Oh, it's a parking lot. McKenna's in trouble. McCann's in trouble. It's a huge issue at Starkey's Bridge.
Everyone has gone off there. It almost looks like one mistake led to 2. And in fact, it was 2 cars simultaneously spinning out. And all of a sudden, one more gets collected. This again has caused issues. We talked about people having chaos in this race. We didn't expect self-spins, but at the front, there's no spinning at the moment. It is all focused with 4 minutes left.
All focus at the front, but behind that, it's anybody's game, it seems at this point. Peter Dempsey's on the back of this group. He is surely going to be the de facto championship leader coming out of Donington Park, knowing that his brother Keith is having a shocker here, and this is, without doubt, his drop round. Very late to the apex, then trying to drive off the exit, but knows that the slipstream is keeping him very much away from making a move on Jason Cooper. Jason Smith with control. Dempsey with the fastest lap of the race. Gets all over the back. There are the Jason Cooper. No chance of making the move just yet, but there is patience at play here in this battle at the front.
You've got to feel that they may even just be questioning if there's any point fighting at the moment. Yes, they would like more points, but if they stay together right here, at the moment there, Dempsey has to save himself on a slide and manages to save it. That's a brilliant save there, but unfortunately he's going to be losing out. Now he's definitely in that position of just trying to keep and consolidate that P4.
A massive snap of oversteer at the old hairpin. And there goes Peter Dempsey's chances of victory. It is still the 3 Js, Jason, Jordan and Jason up there at the front. It's a Jason sandwich with a Jordan Kelly filling at this moment. And Jason Smith's been driving fantastically at the front of this field. Not once over the first 2 races has Jason Smith ceded away that race lead, which he took with a 1:36.1 pole time out there overall. Down the hill to the Melbourne hairpin, the most abrupt stop of racetrack in the world, Craig, because you look at the end, they've tried to save money and not profile the outside edge of the circuit.
It almost looks like they've just taken an old-fashioned airstrip there and just made a road on it. but it does actually allow the drivers to get a little bit more traction, a little different line. They try and go wider right here. But Hacker's trying to make this and hold it onto P7, but we've got another spinner there at the hairpin before the hairpin, and there's a little bit of a car park with two of them there.
Yeah, McCann as well in trouble with David Yamamoto. So both of them down at the hairpin, finding their own troubles out then on track, as we are down to 2 laps to go. So they'll have to continue on their way with their racing as they continue on. Very close out there now between these drivers, 6th, 7th, and 8th. It is Ossian Puhaka who is now in 6th, Sean McGoldrick who is in 7th, and Sean McClement who finds himself in 8th. They've got about 3 seconds here, Craig, to Tony Stack in 9th on the outside looking in.
Yeah, he's on the outside looking in. He wants to hope that these three will start battling each other, and I don't think they will. I think they're just going to be complacent with this, and if there's a run to take, Ozzy will take it. I don't think he's going to look for any heavy sends here at the moment. McClements would just be happy to stay where he is.
Oh, Smith! Mistake!
Sorry.
Just like that, a mistake from Jason Smith. How often do you see that? And he will not just lose first, he will lose second unless he's brave on the brakes, which he is. And he's going to take that one away from Jason Cooper. Jason Smith, you don't often find himself making the wrong move. It looked like he just grabbed the grass as he went to brake.
Well, we're all human. And now a mistake from Jordan Kelly. And Kelly's made a mistake at Goodard. And all of a sudden, Jason Smith has the lead again. And this is the final lap of the sprint race. And they're going to have to keep this safe here. Who's going to blink last? And Jason Smith will hold on to this. All of a sudden, it's been handed back to him when he thought a victory was out of his hands.
A free kick to Jason Smith, but here comes Jordan Kelly down the Craner curves. He'll be on the inside, it will turn to the outside, it'll be covered. Here comes Jason Cooper to the inside now, trying to think about it. No chance there as they now start to drive up under Starkey's Bridge over towards McLean. Jason Cooper watches Jordan Kelly as Jason Smith now will defend the inside at this McLean's corner, almost interlocking the wheels as they go through, trying to make a power move. There's no room there. Traffic stays off to the inside. Here at Coppice Corner, it's now Jason Cooper trying to make the challenge, and that might be giving Jason Smith the free run he needs to get away. Cooper stuck on that outside, knows that Jordan Kelly has got that place sorted. If Jordan Kelly needs a run, it is now through this fantastic section. He will wash out. That will bring once more Jason Cooper into the mix. Jason Smith's free kick might be turning into a winning goal here, as now on the brakes they go into the Melbourne hairpin. Great work by Jason Cooper. He finds a way up and through, waiting in the wings as Peter Dempsey to try and get there. But, oh, what a let-off it is for Jason Smith, who gets his 6th win now of the season, and he is at the double, as every driver who's won race 1 has done so far this season.
Now the question is, will he be able to hold on to it in the backfield as well? We have a new P8 because Sean McGoldrick got overtaken from Sean McClements there in the last lap, down to the final couple hairpins, manages to take that to McGoldrick. They both keep on the front row, the two Seans, but McGoldrick will take pole position now, but for the points for McClements, that is also crucial for him.
Oh, yes. So McClements will get a couple more points out there and some great driving up through the field. Some drivers who made some really nice progress in that one. And it was proven so by Jason Smith, who picked up the victory and won by 0.8 of a second over Jason Cooper for a Jason 1-2. Jordan Kelly rounds out the podium then in 3rd. Peter Dempsey will end up in 4th position, with Lawrence de Sosua having a really, really good night. A quietly, underratedly good night there in 5th place, with Ossian Puhaka recovering to 6th. Sean McClement finds out that he's the best Sean in this race because he beat Sean McGoldrick with an A and an H in 8th place, and will take the pole for the 3rd race overall. Tony Stack will be 9th, with Rory O'Shea there, Craig, rounding the top 10.
Yeah, he rounds the top 10 as we go. I have a quick look. Just want to keep an eye out there. I want to give a shout out, though, to Ronan Hederman. Made up 12 positions there. Started 14th. So finished 14th, sorry. Made up 12 positions. Very good for him. But the man we have to talk about, Keith Dempsey, Started 28th, finished 27th. That is going to be a difficult race for him.
It is going to be a difficult race, and we are going to have a chance to chat with a couple of our drivers. First and foremost, Jason Cooper is the driver we will chat to. Ended up with a second position in that race 2, a third in race 1. Jason, it is looking like it's going to be some very, very aggressive racing out there. Everyone's racing within their limits. It looks like everyone's at 100% here tonight.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying the racing so far tonight. Lacking a little bit of pace to Jordan and Jason, but managed to just keep in the toe then, and made a couple of mistakes in front and managed to pounce and get second at the end there.
So let's talk then strategy. You'll be starting them from 7th position on the grid. There have been a number of drivers who have been in trouble tonight just by being caught in the pack, no more so than Keith Dempsey. So for you, looking at the start of this race, is it just going to be a case of keep it out of trouble for 2 laps and then attack from there?
Yeah, obviously, starting a bit further down the pack now is in a bit of a danger zone. So hopefully we can make it through the first couple of corners and have a good race in there.
Well, we hope you do have a good race from there. Jason Cooper there joining us. Jordan Kelly is found his way with us, and walking down the virtual pit lane is Craig King to meet him.
Yeah, I managed to find Jordan. And Jordan, that must have been one hell of a battle to watch in front of you. But it also looked like you had a chance there at the moment. Did it look like everything was being gifted to you in that second race? Because it looked very close.
Yeah, it's just coming on Jason coming into the chicane, he just put a wheel on the grass and just went lost it. But luckily, he actually kept it in within track limits and stuff. So, then as soon as you get into the lead, you make the stupidest mistake, and we're battling again. So, but it was a savage bit of battling. It's always good clean racing with Jason. So that's all that matters, I suppose.
Now, the first race, you went from P9 to P2, and then you went from 2 to 3. So you have, out of the top 3 in that race, the best experience of making up the positions here. What is your game plan going to be? Are you just going to take it a little bit careful in the first couple laps here?
Well, as I said last week, I was going to try and take it easy, but it didn't actually work out too well last week for me. But it was a good bit of fun last week, but I don't want to be in that same situation as last week, because it's not the position you want to be in, trying to fight your way back up the grid. But or just try and keep it nice and cool, and just make moves when you can. Just don't do anything stupid, because 20 minutes is a long race, and that's just the way it is.
Well, Jordan, all the best for that race. We wish you to go well. Then that's Jordan Kelly. He'll be starting 6th in the final race.
He will, but we need to talk to the driver who's got 2 race wins over the course of tonight's action at Donington Park. Jason Smith is with us now. Jason, 6 race wins this season. You have been challenged, or you've only lost the lead for the best part of 1 straight over the course of the racing so far tonight. Everyone's giving it a fair go, but it looks like you've got an extra couple tenths of a second in the back pocket.
Yeah, Jordan's just a little bit behind me, and we're very close, and so is Peter and Jason. It just makes such close racing and put me under a lot of pressure.
Well, the pressure's certainly there, but you have to have a smile on your face when you put the drop rounds into perspective. You were 14 points ahead of Keith Dempsey with that, and you're seeing Keith Dempsey tonight with a 23rd and a 28th. That's got to be something that's giving you a little bit of a smile right now.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Just racking up the points is the best way, and keep it clean. Just unfortunate for Keith, what happened with him, so.
Right, let's talk 8th place then. You've done it once before this season, 8th to 1st. Same again from what you managed at round 2 of the championship at Oulton Park?
Yeah, exactly the same. Nothing went wrong that day, so hoping for this today, so be good. Just keep the nose clean and get a good start and just pick my way through. I know I've Jordan ahead of me that's very quick, and Jason and Peter, so it's gonna be good bit of battling.
Knock wood, it's going to be good for you there, Jason. So hopefully that manages for you. He's going to try from 8th position to try and get the result that he wants. But Craig, very quickly, we're going to be jumping up over in towards these 20 minutes. There is time for this race to really make something happen. And we have seen, especially in these opening 2 races, you can make the move if you're patient and wait for the right chance to happen.
Yep, just be patient, just be smooth. A lot of drivers are trying to overdrive the cars to make the overtakes here, and that's where the mistakes have been coming. Remember, smooth is fast out here. That's what you want to be doing. The key question will be, what happens as they come down in the Craner curves for the first time? Because each race we've seen, something has happened there at the Craner curves and into the old hairpin. Sean McGoldrick will be leading us off here for this race. And then in P2, it's going to be Sean McClements. Ozzy Bahaka will be third, and Laura Tesoswa will be fourth. Peter Dempsey will take fifth, and Jordan Kelly sixth. Jason Cooper will be seventh, and Jason Smith will be beside him in eighth. Tony Stack will be ninth, and Rory O'Shea rounds out the top 10, and it's going to be crucial for those guys at the back to get a good start.
A row of Sean's to lead things off. The fourth row is a row of Jason's. We've got ourselves a beautifully linguistic front in terms of what this could be. Watch out, though. The track's up to 32 degrees. The humidity certainly not helping things either. This track is slippery on turning, and the winds, although 6 to 7 miles an hour, are gusting. The two Sean's on the front. Green flag up in the air. 20-minute start. Then for the final race tonight, here at Donington Park, already Puhaka has a hope of trying to make a move up into second. Not going to happen then through Redgate Corner. Sweeping around the outside. Tries Jordan Kelly then in the early stages of this race. He will already make up one place. Single file through the front 8, 9th position back is its own battle at this stage. So those who are in the split in the reverse against those who weren't, that's where the field is. Tesoswa loses a place then down in the old hairpin.
Tesoswa loses the place. Rowan Doherty makes a place, though, at the old hairpin as they come around and into McLean's. They go. The question now is if they keep side by side. We do have a spinner, and that's a white car. That's Ozzy Bahaka.
Again, and he almost gets collected there as he waits for everyone to go by, because spinning along with him was David Yamamoto there going to the inside. So two drivers, Sebastian Scholten is in the wall and out of this race. So already we've got troubles there. But here is Tesoswa versus Jason Smith as they run to the bottom. Yes, Tesoswa is pretty much in race preservation mode. He's trying to preserve his points, and more drivers going wide there on the outside. That looked like someone there had a bit of a slide. But at the front, Sean versus Sean. Oh, they outbreak themselves. Peter Dempsey's taking the race lead.
Peter Dempsey decided, thank you very much, I will take that as a mistake. They go fighting in the car in third position there. He usually makes those moves that we've seen today. Now Peter Dempsey has to try and see how far he can go ahead here, because you look behind, Smith, Cooper, Doherty, they're not making the positions up as fast as they would like to this early. This gives the advantage Peter Dempsey already. If he can pull McGoldrick with him, that's a result. That's another car between him and the rest of the drivers. But look at this free wide as they go down the line.
Yeah, down the line they go and trying to go through. A jump start for Bruno Walraven on the opening lap. He's down in to serve the stop and go penalty. Keith Dempsey down the hill. What a start he's had. 28 up to 15 on the opening lap. Oh, sorry, 27 to 16 on the opening lap. Keith Dempsey is starting to fly as they spin behind.
I think you've just inflicted the commentator's curse there as Dempsey captured the tyre there on Hederman, and there was nowhere for Dempsey to go. Hederman had nowhere else and spun right in front of him, and unfortunately all that work for Dempsey yet again has failed, and all of a sudden he's still good though, but look at the damage though.
Well, he was just in front of that entire group, so he managed to go through okay. There'll be another one off in front, freebie. Patrick McKenna goes off the road, so he was good. It was the entire group behind him that got caught up in the incident. So Keith Dempsey is fine, absolutely fine. Everyone else behind him got caught up in the issue, and that's sometimes the breaks that you get in a series like this. Now, watch out for those in third, fourth, and fifth, because Jason Smith, by the way, has just jumped up into third place ahead of Jordan Kelly, who is now still in fourth position, and you've got Sean McClements currently in fifth. Look at this group as they charge. They're still only 1.4 off of Peter Dempsey, the race leader. Sean McGoldrick, the perfect bridge between the divides right now as they start their third lap of the race.
Yeah, Sean McGoldrick is doing a stint out there at the moment. He is really working hard out there, and you've got to look at the names behind him, and he is holding with them so well, and you've got to think that this has to end at some time, but McGoldrick's not going to allow that to happen as they go down the hill one more time. We've had 3 laps here. Is he able to just hold off any charge? Kelly's unable to make up the move so far. Smith's made such a great start. What is Kelly's game plan here at the moment? He's taking it safe, but at some point, you've got to start thinking if he wants these points and he wants that victory, he's going to have to make the move soon.
Well, you're going to sit down and go, you got the fastest driver out there who knows how to make the move. Why wouldn't I follow him for 17, 18 minutes of this race and then decide at the final stage to go through? Or you could have Jason Smith off the road. Just like that. He's going to drop right back down behind Jason Cooper. So Jason Smith, with a rare mistake, drops the 3 places that he just made. And now he's got to do it all over again.
Coppice claims another victim there. Got on the throttle a bit too early there, and you can start to see he's having his time. You see more battles just coming through the hairpin, and now at the chicane. And this is at the backfield. We are looking to see Keith Dempsey making up even more places here. That's now 16 positions, he has made as they come through to the next hairpin. What a result that would be if Dempsey can make up this type of recovery drive.
I'll tell you what, Keith Dempsey is driving like a man possessed at this moment. Jordan Kelly with the fastest lap then of the race as he moved up into 2nd position. The pass on Sean McClements is made. He now has to drag that entire group of 5 up to Peter Dempsey, who leads this race. 1/4 of the race already scored and sorted. Lawrence de Sosa down the hill, racing Tony Stack. Stack getting a move done at Redgate Corner, sorted out by the time they reach the old hairpin.
And now he just has to hold on to see what he can do. And then look at these moves just going on elsewhere around the track. I'm just looking. Stack has made up no position so far in this race. But you look at all those big movers. Chris Knox, 12 positions. Keith Dempsey, 16. Isaac Canto having a quiet 14. But at the front, Peter Dempsey is now putting a 2nd advantage over Jordan Kelly. And hello, a little bit of contact there in the background.
Yeah, there was a little bit in the background. I tell you what, it wasn't going to be happy days for Sean McGoldrick. He drops a place, and an important place at that as well, as that brings into the top 5 Jason Smith once again as they go through. Now you start thinking about this hairpin. How quick can Jordan Kelly close to Peter Dempsey? He is dragging Sean McClements along with him for the ride. And this is key, actually, for Sean McClements, because he is driving so well in the tracks of a driver in front. If he had a little bit more pace, he'd be able to work like that more consistently in races 1 and 2. Here in race 3, he's proving he's got skills following Jordan Kelly and his pace.
He's got skills, and he is actually paying the bills with them. And look at that. He takes the fastest lap for 36.4, and he is using that advantage. Sometimes you get these drivers, if you get held up with slipstream, and usually the slipstream helps you, but you don't get ability to overtake with them. That's basically what Sean's doing right now. He's holding station right here, and using Jordan Kelly, as you were saying, to his advantage. That helps because Jason Cooper and Jason Smith, they're having their own little battle right behind, and they're unable to keep up to McClements, and that dirty air will also be hindering them. So right now, McClements might be the best man to be in a podium position at the end of this race.
Top 10 looms for Keith Dempsey. Tony Stack sits in his way up at McLean's corner, the right-hander. Then you got to climb the hill again, plateau to Coppice corner. It's like climbing Table Mountain from time to time. On the brakes through the right. No dice between the two. They'll stay as they are through Coppice, and on the run then the up and the down all the way over to the Fogarty Essex as they start to drive forward for it. So here comes the look then to the inside. Keith Dempsey is not going to wait. He goes straight to the inside and attacks that section of road. Stack does have the ability to attack back on the exit, but I tell you what, he is using all his road tax here as Keith Dempsey. You earn it, you use it, and there's the top 3 altogether.
Yep, top 3 still all together, just half a second between the top 3. what is going to be the first move by any of these drivers. Does Kelly have a run here? I don't think he does. But Clements is just going to be happy to keep watching here. Yet again, he is licking his lips, waiting to see if either of these drivers make a mistake. And all of a sudden, Kelly's right on the back of Peter Dempsey here. It won't be an easy move down into the Craner curves, but expect an overtake at the old hairpin? I wouldn't say so, but this is where you set yourself up for your moves going into McLean's.
Oh, you do, and that's a much better over the curb in comparison there by Jordan Kelly. It opens up the door. He'll have to go the long way around, though, which will open up the inside at McLean's corner. Looks it up at the inside, and Dempsey tries to shut the door behind on McClements and manages it. But look at how that has opened up the door for Jason and Jason to get themselves into place. Smith ahead of Cooper after Smith made the move last lap down at the Melbourne hairpin. This suddenly becomes a very, very aggressive pack, and Peter Dempsey might start thinking about how quickly can I be aggressive in this sort of race. Through they go, the Fogarty S's, and now down to that Melbourne hairpin again. Does Sean McClements decide to make a move? Yes, he does, so it has to be covered off there by Peter Dempsey as he tries to go through, but McClements having none of it. It's going to get that sorted on the inside up and under. Brilliant from Peter Dempsey.
Yeah, and the mistake there from McClements took too much of the inside, and I think the car had a little bit of bounce, and he lost all his momentum, and all of a sudden the pressure is starting to show from McClements. These four drivers, altogether, as Jason Smith has a moment at the Melbourne hairpin, and all of a sudden Jordan Kelly takes that lead, just what he wants to see. Peter Dempsey's the only man at the moment that can threaten him, but do not worry, Jason Cooper's still there, and really we're halfway through the race. Jason Smith, he might be a second away from McClements. He's still in with a shot of this race.
He is. He had to serve a slowdown penalty at the Fogarty S's. That was the difference maker and the difference breaker at that moment in time. So that's why he's dropped down. That's why he's struggling a little bit out there in terms of the moves. But once more they drive back up through this section of road, looking for a chance as they go through. Cooper now with a little search, but it's not going to get past Sean McClements just yet. You have to pick and choose here.
Yeah, you have to make sure that you make your own little moves and just hold on as you start to see these little battles just growing around. Chris Knox making the move around Sean McGoldrick. Can McGoldrick respond? No. Sean is still having a good race despite he is now down from first down into 7th position. However, he's keeping it calm. He's getting the points he wants. And right behind him, though, Rory O'Shea, Laura DeSoto, and Keith Dempsey, they're having a fantastic little battle here. And Dempsey looks for his 18th position gains.
Well, he wants more than that. He'll want both positions gained. His 18th and 19th here. DeSoto covering the line off then on the inside, trying to rush through, gain some traction off of the exit and up the hill. It will be covered then with Rory O'Shea just in front, who is the cork in the proverbial bottle here at the final corner of Goddard. So you can see how they take a little bit of a later braking zone there, Craig, going into Goddard's, because they know that they can open up the exit of the corner by going through. 5-pack challenger here at Redgate Corner. Here comes Smith once again, and once more he dispatches the Jason Cooper for the move.
Yeah, Laura DeSoto at the end of that did get through, but we're looking at this important battle at the front as all of a sudden Jason Smith gets past Jason Cooper, and you've now got to start thinking Smith's managed to rectify those mistakes early on. He is now going to be trying to catch up here. Just get past one of them at one time. They say cricket will win it in singles. Well, that is what Jason Smith has to look at right now. There's 8 minutes, less than 8 minutes remaining. Let's just get one position at a time. Let's catch up to them. And I'm pretty sure the way these guys have been driving and attacking at the front, he might be able to. Sorry.
Oh, Loris DeSoto holding around the outside over at McLean's corner. He's got it done on Rory O'Shea. My word, did he have to work for that one. And it suddenly brings in Keith Dempsey to the mix, who is desperately trying to get something out of tonight at Donington Park, knowing the very unpredictable Knock Hill turns its rears its head, so to speak, next time out. Move done. Move for the race lead. 2 Dempseys at the same time, trying to get it done. Now, Sean McClements on the outside. We're 3 wide, heading to Goddard's. Dempsey will back out. Not Dempsey, McClements will back out of it. Dempsey will try and hold around the outside of Jordan Kelly. Kelly holds, but look at that. Jason Smith up to second now, fighting on it on the outside.
And side by side, they're almost interlocking ties. This could be very dangerous for one of these drivers. And that looks like Sean McClements wants to go 3 wide. He decides against it. Can Jason Smith make this round the outside red gate? They come together, and they're all together, and 3 of them are in a wreck.
Over the top of Jason Smith goes Sean McClements. Big dramas there as Peter Dempsey finds himself caught up in it. They've all got to try and recover now. Keith Dempsey gets his Christmas wish and moves up at least into 8th place. He'll have eyes on 7th in front of him and maybe 6th as well. He might be able to salvage out of this. Jordan Kelly, all of a sudden, has one driver to keep an eye out on, and he is 2.2 seconds behind, and it's Jason Cooper. Free kick given. Jordan Kelly might just get his win back that he lost off of Jason Smith last week.
Yep, and this is just what he wants. He wants redemption, and he's going to get it. A shout out to Chris Knox, though. That allows him to get 16 positions in the race. But this is the man that's all important right now. 2.5 seconds ahead of Jason Cooper. All he's got to do is just start matching the times. That's all he has to do now. I'm not saying don't push. All of a sudden, he has to start pushing. Just like right here at the moment, we're seeing more battles as McClements and McGoldrick are coming into a battle. McClements decides against it and then goes, nope, I baited you. That's a nice little bait and switch.
It's not over yet. And once again, you can't separate the 2 Seans in this race, as now it is going to be again McGoldrick then on the inside. McClements trying to get up and under. It's blocked off at the apex. No chance for a move there. These 2 Seans know that they can either race for it now, or if they're going to be brave and work together, they might, just might here, Craig, be able to catch Chris Knox.
They could work together, or they could just decide to just have some fun racing each other and trading the positions, and that's what they're doing right now. Some lovely over-unders by both of these drivers, and again, the respect is so well given between the 2 of them. They'll continue down into the old hairpin, and behind them, though, even more battles going on with those who are trying to hold off Peter Dempsey and Keith Dempsey. Hang on 1 second, Jake. I've seen this story before. Dempsey and Dempsey together. What could happen this time?
Well, overtakes is not one of them in terms of those getting around them, because you can get past one, but you can't get past both. Keith down the inside of Peter, can't find the pass. Peter knows he's in championship position on his brother Keith, and Keith's trying to get as much as he can back through it. He slides a little bit wide at Coppice Corner as Keith Dempsey. Thank you very much. Rory O'Shea will take a place. Will Tony Stack decide he wants to get the deck stacked in his favour? There's a Jason Smith in the background, and lest we forget, Ossian Puhaka, who spun on the opening lap.
Yeah, Ozzy's still in there. He's in 12th position, and he's still having a little bit of a battle himself. And just look at all these drivers going into the corners. And as well, Sean McClements get past Sean McGoldrick again. Now, you've got to start thinking. They're seeing these drivers behind them start pulling to them. Instead of fighting, maybe now they've got to work together. All of a sudden, this gap that they've created is starting to shrink because of all the fighting they're doing.
Yeah, and that's key. The more that they fight, the more they're going to be in trouble. We've got a handful of laps to go here at Donington Park. Halfway in the season's done after this, and the 2 Seans are there. McGoldrick and McClements, the 2 Dempsey brothers, as Keith finally gets down the inside. Pops up 2 wheels over the curb there on the inside. Gets that extra little kick of grip and says, thank you. That is 7th place. And so hard fought for here in this 20-minute race. McGoldrick still fighting hard with Sean McClements. These 2 will not give it up, and a top 5 still out of the way. Big power block through under Starkey's bridge.
And he holds on to the position, but then again, when you've got the Starkey straight coming up soon, is that worth it? Holding that position, maybe just let him get it and then get it back at the hairpin. But no, he's happy to do this as McClements. He wants to wait for this. He's just going to hold his position. He'll take the inside line. He'll go defensive. McGoldrick's got to go around the outside. Can he hold this? This will be one for the books if he holds this. McClements decide that's not worth waiting for. I'm going to go for the over-under. And just like that, beautiful textbook.
Oh, this is so good between these 2, and they both know it. On the brakes of the Melbourne hairpin. How deep do you want to go, Mr. McGoldrick? as then it will be Mr. McClement who will hold on. And I tell you what, oranges and lemons, he will not find his pass just yet. McGoldrick still searches, now trying to get himself back into play. They might bring DeSoswa, who's 2 seconds back of this, into this group, knowing they've got 2 laps to go. How do you find what you need?
And where do you find it? 2 seconds isn't a lot of time on a 1 minute 36 track. But if you keep battling like this, they may get it. DeSoswa is looking right now, and he's trying to count the times down. He gained a second on the last lap, but these two continue to battle, and McGoldrick wants to look for a move. He may go for this at the old hairpin. I don't think he's got the length for it. Can he get a run, though? He'll have to go try and make the run around the outside here, through and under the bridge. It's not there this time, and DeSoswa is slowly catching. McGoldrick's going to try and go around the outside here. There's no way he can make this.
Oh, there's a way, and he'll try it now in the 7-Up car. He's got to have to hope he's got to drive off the exit. Next corner's also him on the outside. It's Coppice corner if he wants to get this sorted for 4th place. He'll again try this one around the outside. And you know what? He'll have the inside for Goddard, you know? He'll have the inside for Goddard. And he'll get himself then the chance here. Sorry, the Fogarty S's. He'll have the inside for the Fogarty S's. Can he get it done on the brakes? Answer is yes, he can. He holds up the middle of the road to get the move done. This is an overtaking clinic at the battle for 4th position. As that all happened, Peter Dempsey has been freight trained back to 12th position. Jason Smith now up into 8th. Big slide off the exit. DeSoswa now enters the mix.
DeSoswa was there. He was waiting for them, and McGoldrick is taking the defense. They're going to see the white flag very shortly, and now all of a sudden this little battle between the two Shawns includes a Lawrence, and right now they have to start wondering what's going to happen.
You can argue it includes a King. King Dempsey there is only, what, 0.7 back, 0.8 back of this? He could have them all, you know, and so could Jason Smith. This last lap, a lot could be decided in this championship push. There is Keith Dempsey with the LH44 helmet on as he charges down the Craner curves, and they're spinning off in front. Goes the lap traffic of Martin McGonigal just in front of them. They all traverse around it, but now they drive under Starkey's Bridge up towards McLean's corner with Sean McClements trying to find a pass once more on Sean McGoldrick. Not going to find it. Some defensive lines being taken by them all as they now look to charge, use all the road available and find the overtakes that are there. Flying through Coppice corner, they will have to try and go. At some point, we will have to cut away to Jordan Kelly, who is out there at 4.3 seconds of a margin at the front of this field. Watch him try and weave and find a little bit of a gap. Is there no chance of making the move? Trying to force the mistake out of McGoldrick. It's McClements. He's not going to find it. For Jordan Kelly, he will come up to the final corner as now these drivers fight 2, nearly 3 wide, trying to find their moves. Jordan Kelly will take his position. It looks like there's huge dramas behind them as they went through. They all survived through that section. It'll be Jason Cooper second, Chris Knox third, but for 4th, who's it going to be? As now big lunges then by McClements. McGoldrick is going to hold on to 4th ahead of Sean McClements. Lawrence DeSoswa will take 6th, and Keith Dempsey will get 20 of the best. An overtake for every minute of the race, Craig.
Brilliant play there by Keith Dempsey. Shout out to Ozzy Pahaka, finishing P8 in a recovery drive as well, just getting past Rory O'Shea in the final laps, and Jason Smith unfortunately falling down to P10. That is a story we've got to talk about because he was trying to look for his championship battles there, and that's not worked out there for Jason Smith. Just holding off Tony Stack though, so that does give him some consolation.
Barney waving the checkered flag. Good battle there for 18th position as they drove towards the line. Gary Corcoran will be the last driver over the line as there is Jamal Gandor, who is really had a quiet race, I think, here tonight. He'll be happy just to see the checkered flag there and see those checkered flags as he's come over the line here tonight. Let's get confirmation then of the final results then in just a couple of moments' time, because before we do, we're going to step aside for one moment here with the Global SimRacing Channel. Results and coverage, then post-race coverage, coming to you after this. This is Donington Park and your RTA Formula Ford 1600 Championship. We talk about this, how if you win race 1, you win race 2. And if you win race 2, you've got a very good chance of winning race 3. It didn't happen last week for Jordan Kelly. He'll get his win back in race 3 here tonight at Donington Park. His 21 minutes and 5 seconds worth of driving allotted him a victory margin of 5.4 seconds over Jason Cooper, whose really consistent run tonight of 3 podiums might just put him well in the championship scene at this stage. What a drive from Chris Knox. 19th on the grid. He quietly made those places, and when everyone faltered around him, he was up in 3rd place at the end of this race at a full 7 seconds clear of an almighty scrap between the two Seans. McGoldrick managing to hold off McClements. 4th and 5th, those two shared the front row of this race. Lawrence de Sosler ends up in 6th with another vintage display of great driving. All 3 of his races end up as top 6 finishes. Keith Dempsey, we saw his drive 28th and 27th, championship in shambles. Suddenly, he's got a lifeline to cling on to. What a 7th place for him. He finishes ahead of Ossian Puhaka, Rory O'Shea, and it's salutations for Jason Smith. The triple does not happen again. He finds himself down there and hoping for a little bit of help next time out.
We get to the other pages. Tony Stack will be 11th. He lost a couple places in that race, but did try to fight back there, almost getting P10 from Jason Smith. But Peter Dempsey losing 7 spots there was not the race he wanted there. He will finish 12th. Ronan Dosahy will finish 13th. And then Peter McCann makes up 8 spots to get a very well-deserved 14th. And Isaac Canto, we don't talk a lot about him. He gets these quiet races that does well, 13 positions made up, and he will get 15th overall. John McDonald in the B Series will take a very good point haul in that B Series to finish 16th position, and Patrick McKenna started 17th and finished 17th. Ronan Hederman will lose a couple positions and will finish 14th position. And Dave Collier, who is the B Series leader, finishes in 19th, making a small recovery, with Edna Farrell just having not the best of luck there, losing 9 positions in the race to finish 20th.
Jamar Gandor and Gary Corcoran will be the last finishers on the leading lap. We saw on the final lap the spin of Martin McGonigal in 23rd, and on the opening lap, David Yamamoto getting caught up in the same instant then as Ossian Puhaka. Mark McKenna would be 2 laps down. Retirees would be Bruno Walraven, Sebastian Scholten, and Ian May. No starts at all over the course of racing for Brandon McGoggin. His troubles so dramatic that he couldn't find himself to even a start line here today at Donington Park Circuit. We do have the chance, though, to talk to a few drivers, and, well, none more so than Jordan Kelly, who gets his victory here. You've been on every step of the podium here around this Donington Park Circuit, Jordan, but this victory must be sweet for you because you knew that that massive group had to earn it, and then it was calamities behind that got you the chance to run away.
Yeah, it was a bit disheartening to see Peter up the road, but we eventually caught up to him. But once you get into the lead round here, the tow's just so strong. It's just you're just fighting. You're fighting every corner there to try and just get a wee gap so they don't get a run on you. But it was good battling until that incident happened, which I think from what I was hearing it was a net code, but it was good battling upside. So that's all that matters, I suppose.
It was good battling, and for you, you've had to really work over those first 2 races, 9th up to 2nd, and then 2nd, okay, yes, falling to 3rd, but you're right up there. You had the lead with a handful of laps, if not 1 lap to go. Do you take a lot of positives here tonight, knowing that the 3 races that you've put together, you really haven't put much of a foot wrong?
Yeah, I've made a few small mistakes over the 3 races, but overall, I just tried to stay out of making big mistakes that just cost you a lot of time. That's what happened to Smith there in that race, and it was tough coming after qualifying. It was just like I'm normally good at qualifying, and that was just one of my worst qualifyings I've probably ever had in say 4 years of sim racing. So it was a good motivational boost to get back up and get 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in each of the races. So we'll take that to the next round. Hopefully, do the same.
We certainly will. Those next 3 races, though, will be Knock Hill, a circuit which is very much I would say, a unicorn out of all of the British racing circuits. For you, what do you think about that place?
Knockhill. I like Knockhill, but from my past experience with racing with Jason and stuff, he's going to be quick around there. So it's going to be you're going to have to get a lot of practice in, because it's a tricky place and things can go wrong over the top of that crest very easily, and there's going to be a lot of carnage no matter what happens. It's that tight round there. It's just going to happen. But it's a great track to drive. So hopefully we can just keep the nose clean in that too.
Well, we hopefully get to see that happen for you. But Jordan, before we let you go, shout out sponsors. Who gets it done for you?
Just all the guys at RTA and the guys on Runway and England Team Dolan and all that. So thanks again for running the league, Andrew and Rob. So hopefully it can keep up the good numbers and keep the good racing going.
Well, some good racing it was indeed. Jordan Kelly there joining us with a P1 and that, as he managed to get that sorted. Craig, you've had a little walk down the paddock, and I believe you found your way to Jason Cooper and his 3 podiums that he's had tonight, putting his championship back on track.
Yep, a P3, a P2, and another P2 for Jason Cooper. And all of a sudden, it feels like, Jason, after what happened in the front of the pack with that accident, that your championship is back on track after that race.
Lucked in again on that one. Racing a bit hard, and luckily I just snuck through on the inside. Just got on the brakes in time and missed the crash, and picked up second place.
Yeah, you got second place there, and just talk us through, because it did feel like before that it was more of a battle of waiting for the opportunities, because that pack was so close. It looked like there was no chance to get any look in anywhere in the early stages of that race.
Yeah, obviously Jason was probably one of the quicker ones, but he kept making a few mistakes. I don't know how many times he overtook me in that race, but it's quite a few. And I think every time he was getting a bit more desperate. But then I think Peter and him came together in the end. But yeah, it's rounded off a good night for me. We had a couple of bad rounds, so 3 podiums it's a good way to get a championship back on.
Yeah, your championship gets back on track, but unfortunately, we have got Knock Hill. I say unfortunately because it can be a place where championships go to die. I know you would love to say, I want to look for 3 more podiums when it comes to Knock Hill, but what are you realistically looking forward to when you come to Knock Hill next week?
I think Knock Hill's an awesome track, so I've not actually driven it in the Formula Ford yet, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, before we let you go away for the night, just a few shout outs for yourself to celebrate for your podium.
I was going to give a shout out to Chris Knox. That's 19th to 3rd. That was a pretty good racer. So well done, Chris.
Yeah, I'm sure that is one that we may get hold of shortly. But Jason, thank you very much. Congratulations on your 3 podiums. That, Jake, was Jason Cooper. Have you managed to find somebody else down in the paddock?
I have. He's gone from 19th to 3rd over the course of this race, and it's Chris Knox who's with me right now. Chris, you qualified the best that you've done all season, up in 4th position. You find yourself, though, at the end of race 1 in 22nd. Not quite the race 1 and race 2 you were hoping for, but was that just a case of you have pretty much just put the blinkers on and just say, well, any positions I gain is a plus?
Yeah, well, I tried to do the same in race 2, but I got taken out on the first lap at the old hairpin. So after, best qualifying, got a nice tow from Jason Smith in qualifying. And a little mistake at the start of race 1, and then threw it off myself at McLean's, which caused me to go backwards. So starting P19, I think it was just head down and stay out of trouble, and waiting for the 5 cars in front to mess up, and thankfully they did.
Well, fortune, of course, does favour the brave, and you, of course, were a very brave driver over that 3rd race. Just talk through jumping into the season, and as well jumping in towards the 5-star motorsport team, having someone like Jason around you, Lars Fischer, those sorts of characters in and around who have that wealth of experience. For you, what does it mean to join a team like that, and how much does it give you confidence when you go to race upon race and gain that experience from how a car is set up, how you need to drive it, and learning from the people around you?
I kind of stopped doing league racing sort of a year or so ago, and it literally, I only found out about the RTA league the day, I think it was like 2 hours before it started, and just seeing that Jason was doing it. And I know Jason from the BSR days and MX5 and stuff, and always have a bit of a laugh on Discord, so it was more just the kind of I mean, Jason's obviously rapid in real life and rapid on the sim, so yeah, it's good having those guys around, because it's someone you can sort of work with in a race, or you always get a nice someone to tow in qualifying and stuff like that as well. It's just and you know what they're going to be like around you. There's no craziness.
No craziness, but you head to the track where crazy, I think, is an understatement in terms of the way it's built. It is an absolutely incredible circuit in Knock Hill. For you, are you looking at this as the marquee one on your calendar, or are you just ticking it off as this is just any other race?
It's weird. It's my local circuit, and I've not actually raced there since 2009. It's only 45 minutes away, but it's probably the circuit I've driven the least in the last 10 years. But certainly on iRacing, I've done plenty of laps on it on iRacing. But yeah, looking forward to it. It should be interesting with those chicanes in the Formula Ford.
Well, I'll let you in on a secret as well. I've never commentated an iRacing race at Knock Hill, so next week will be my first time as well. So I guess we're both in the same sort of boat. Floor is yours, though, Chris. Anyone you'd like to thank? It is a mega third place finish for you.
No one to thank. Thanks to you guys. Enjoy watching the stream back in a little bit.
Well, I'm sure that we're going to see you up there next week. Chris Knox joining us then. A third place finish, a mega third place finish by his account. But that is going to bring us to the end of our show here. Halfway in the season is marked complete. And I want to give a massive thanks to everyone who has been alongside to get this done for the ride, from Craig, from Daniel, and from Dougie as well. You can catch all of what makes the Global SimRacing Channel broadcast happen on our screen coming up right now. Massive thanks to June Lalonde as well. Her music is fantastic. You can catch her stuff on Bandcamp and on, I believe, just on Bandcamp, I do believe. Her stuff is incredible. Do give it a listen. In terms of what is coming up, you can see that cycling on your screen. Saturday, May 13th, Grand Prix Legends at Imola is the first thing on the docket. We're back next week for Knock Hill, round 5, May 16th. That is a big round, and we say it's where championships go to die. If one championship can die at Knock Hill, I believe 3 others can be revived around that circuit. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you very soon in terms of action. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you for the second half of the season.
Yeah.